You're listening to Unregular Radio. The following program is mature content intended for adults only. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed here are not necessarily those of Unregular Radio, its staff, or its affiliates. Furthermore, do not attempt to recreate any of the situations described, as it may prove physically, legally, or financially harmful. And as always, thank you for listening to Unregular Radio.
It's the THC Show. Two hotheads on canvas with your hosts, Steve Epstein and Mike Cann on UnregularRadio.com.
Welcome to the THC Show, Two Hotheads on Cannabis. It's 11/12/2011.
Yes, or 12/11.
If you're backwards.
If you're a European.
Oh, okay. That's true. That's true. Yeah. I always get confused by that.
Yesterday it was 11/11/11.
Yeah, exactly. Then there's no confusion.
Too bad the lottery doesn't let you play 11.
Really?
For the daily number.
Oh, they don't.
You got to do all ones.
All ones. 11111. 4
Hey
ones.
guys, you already have a caller.
Who's on the phone? Hello. We have a phone call already early in the show. We haven't even given out the phone number. Who's this?
You're live.
On the radio.
William West from San Diego.
Oh God, we were gonna wait to introduce you. We were gonna wait till have you call a little bit later, actually. But since you're here, I'm gonna have you hold on. Steve,
okay.
we just listen for a little bit, and then we'll introduce you to our audience. Steve, what else? What's going on this week?
Well, we may have Deputy Director of Normal Paul Armentano calling in. It's hit and miss. He's got family obligations this afternoon, but he's going to try and give us a call. And we'll talk about, as we usually do, marijuana news, and particularly Massachusetts marijuana news.
Lots of news, lots of developments.
Well,
I
not
just
all
see.
that.
Oh, I do. You, some news you might not be privy to, but
Yeah.
like even our show. The marijuana ball, those are known events coming up, and other things that are happening. I see them happening everywhere. I mean, just my own website, I have some good things I want to announce today.
Yeah.
Also, Stephen Lynch. We're going to talk about Congressman Stephen Lynch.
Well, we'll talk about
Not
all
Stephen
the
Lynch, the
congressmen.
comedy musician.
No, not that one.
This is
Okay.
P.H. Lynch.
And we have a new show producer this week who just piped in. His name's Brett McCabe. He's a comedian.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, I don't know how he's going to fit
That
in with
was
us.
supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
That was a
Hey
joke.
guys, that's the best you can do.
You better be careful.
That kills everywhere I go. I just come up on stage and I'm like, hey guys, huge laugh every time.
And the telephone number is 617-606-4122. And we already have someone on the phone. We have a guest. Should we get into this, or are we going to play music? Are we going to break our format that we had established?
Let's not keep our West Coast guest waiting too long. Let's hear what he has to say.
Okay. So we have a William West on the phone. You can check out his website. I think it's actually we'll ask him his website because I'm losing my mind. I'm having a Rick Perry moment. But William West it's called the Weedley. I think it's the WeedleyNews.com actually. But we'll ask him in a second. William West is like a reporter, an activist in San Diego area. He's got a website. He's made a lot of allegations against some of the people that run ASA in San Diego. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the whole thing. It's like, you go back and forth. But we're going to interview the guy, and we're going to find out what's going on, hopefully, down in San Diego. From his point of view, we also have a statement from Duncan of Americans for Safe Access about this situation that we're going to be getting into right now. So, William, you're on the phone. Say hello.
Well, hello to everybody in Boston, Beantown.
You're in San Diego.
Birthplace of the American Revolution.
Well, it was the beginning. I'm here in, it's usually sunny San Diego, but we have an overcast today, a little bit of rain, which is really strange.
Make your winter flowers grow stronger. So, Will, what's up with ASA in San Diego?
Gosh. How do you begin? I used to be the reporter. I used to be the photographer from 2005 to 2010. So I know a little bit about them, a little bit of the insight, but it was, it's the things that are going on that I see that they're not informing people of, and I just see it personally as a big giant pot monopoly that blinding everybody to everything. It's, the restrictive permitting is what basically forced all the city shops to close down, and it forced everybody. Sorry about that. My alarm system just went off.
And your dogs are going wild now.
Do we have a black bag job in progress?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Yeah, you can't hear us. William, with San Diego ASA, one of the things that I was looking at, you put out some videos. Donna put out a video, which is kind of out there, especially considering what I found out that the person that made the allegation is a prohibitionist. Donna also had a relationship with this Eugene Davidovich in the past, and it's easy for a lot of us to look at it like she has an issue with Eugene personally and has become an attack dog on him. How do you how do you put that down if that's the response to everything that you're writing? I mean, is there truth to it? How, do you see the other side? How do you respond to that?
It's not as personal as you think. It's actually that's like past history. There was well, somebody, somebody.
Okay.
It's,
well, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it
conflict here, but this goes beyond the personal concept of it's more about the patients.
Okay. I got another question. In this City Beat, there's a City Beat story that was written in San Diego about medical marijuana dispensaries. And I hope I gave Steve his copy. I don't think I did. I'm going to give Steve the biggest quote on it that he should look at. Basically in this piece, it was written by an attorney. Actually, let me look at it because I think that might be my only copy. City Beat asked Lance Rogers, the attorney who represents Mother Earth, I'm going to read it for you, Steve, why its paperwork doesn't disclose the issue of warrantless law enforcement access to records. Rogers responded that the agreement does state the cooperative is operating in full compliance with San Diego County Code 21.2501, the ordinance that requires the access. We asked Rogers whether it was fair to assume patients know that's what full compliance means. So basically, this newspaper went to a dispensary, Mother Earth, and found out that they don't really disclose to their patients fully, in easy to understand language that they are turning over all their medical records to the San Diego police.
Well, that's not what it says if San Diego police request them.
Yes.
Yeah, when you
but they're not disclosing it, Steve.
Into their co-op. Part of it just says in compliance with law, and that's all they say. They don't. That's the compliance and laws. What they're hiding from you, as far as all your information going to the police. There's from what I understand, it's 40-foot. Video face recognition before you even enter the building. Then anything that you do is totally recorded. Your voice recorded, your face, everything, your transaction, everything is basically logged in, noted, and sent to them.
William, so we understand that. We understand that, and that's the point we're making. That they're not. They weren't fully disclosing it to people. But the issue I have is who is Lance Rogers and how does Mother Earth, their dispensary, what does that have to do with ASA? Because you seem to be tying them together. How are they tied together?
Oh, I can answer that.
Oh, Donna Lambert's on the phone. All right, Donna.
It's got a lifeline.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Hi, Donna, how you doing?
Good. Well, what's kind of occurred in San Diego is the personal problems that happened. What they did was they triggered a reaction on Facebook. And when I put it on Facebook, I started getting literally dozens, if not a couple hundred letters from activists in other cities and even some other states about the activities that ASA was engaging in. this made it very clear that what ASA actually is, it's a C4, and it's a lobby. It was created to promote the financial interests of Don Duncan. And the businesses that he has get investors, wealthy investors, and they lobby city councils to get restrictive permitting so that they can have an exclusive right to sell marijuana in that city.
Only the insiders.
Only the insiders. Now, on the surface level, Don Duncan appears to be encouraging what he encourages collectives and storefronts and to open and that kind of stuff. But when he goes into the city council, what he uses that as human cannon fodder, and he says that you can close all these dispensaries. What he says, I'll quote him, stop the proliferation of dispensaries if you enact more restrictive permitting so that they can't qualify. We have him on video saying this.
Yeah, but, like the other side of it, Donna, I got to cut you off there, because the other side of it would say there are certain cases where there have been abuses. There are certain cases where there have been too many dispensaries and shady operators, and maybe we do have to do some regulation. So, I mean, just because he said it once.
No, we were working on regulation. In fact, what ASA smashed at the beginning was when Craig Beresh had hired an attorney that had worked with zoning in other cities and had written a zoning initiative similar to what had occurred in other cities, and the ASA program actually smashed that. The people that they recruited and instigated destroyed that, and every attempt for the last year and a half zoning so that people could be out of the shadows, so they could be working with their local government and their local police, was smashed by ASA, and it was all to get this restrictive permitting pot monopoly. And what happened was we had gotten, because of the things that had been said on Facebook, we had gotten warning about this from activists in other cities that had the same thing had occurred in Sacramento in 2008. And so that's actually what goes on. And if it is so legitimate, why does Don Duncan hide it? Why are they not saying, he has a right to be a business monopolist. He has a right to be a lobby, but does he have a right to say he is the voice of a social movement or the voice of patients when what he really wants is restrictive permitting pot monopoly, which doesn't help the patients because it keeps prices high in those.
All right, Donna, I'm torn. I'm going to tell you something. I'm torn on this because I kind of believe that Don Duncan could have good intentions on this stuff. I think that running medical dispensaries is a tough proposition, and because of that, you kind of have to not fully disclose things like you can in the real world, because you could be facing federal charges and federal taxes and all these ridiculous things that the federal government does to us. So I think that's my issue. Is on one hand, I so agree with you. It's does Don Duncan fully disclose what dispensaries they're running? It doesn't seem like they do. It doesn't seem like there's any type of disclosure on where the money's coming from for ASA, and that kind of bothers me. With Mass Care Normal, if we're getting funding or we're working with folks, everything we do is fully disclosed. It's fully public. Anyone can find out what's going on with us. If we owned a dispensary, people would know it. If Mass Cann as an organization owned a dispensary, Steve, would people have a question whether we owned it or not? Would people know?
No, if we owned a dispensary, the public would know.
Yeah, so that's what my problem is with this ASA in California. It's I want to know what you own. I want to know who you're working with. It doesn't seem clear. And this issue with this dispensary not fully disclosing. Fully. I mean, I worked financial industry for years. You have to fully disclose to your client today. You have to explain what it means, make sure they understand, and even have them sign off on it. And I don't think they did that. They said we're fully complying with the law.
So how are you torn?
I'm torn that the fact that they kind of have a defense because the federal government is so insane. that they want to do.
The
If
thing of it
they
is,
could be wanting to do good work.
What?
I was saying they could be wanting to do good work, and be dispensary owners and have.
Benefits only themselves. That's the thing.
Well, that's what you're trying to prove.
Attempts to get zoning because California law allows patients to collectively associate for the purposes of cultivation.
But federal law doesn't.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
Federal law doesn't. But we weren't working not to have that. We were working to have zoning for collective groups that was reasonable. So, I mean, you have 10,
Whoa,
20,
how can there be? Wait a minute, we're talking about tomatoes. How can there be any legitimate zoning control over the cultivation and sale of tomatoes? It makes no sense to me. No regulations. You're conceding too much. You're conceding too much.
Yeah, that's not what was going on. What was going on was like the medical marijuana task force, which we lobbied very hard to get reinstituted, put forth really reasonable recommendations that required what's called a level 2 or a level 3 permit for however many people would be in the collective. And they were rules and regulations that would zone for medical marijuana collective storefronts. The ASA actually lobbied against that, and through town they used violence, they used smear campaigns, they used computer hacking, they used a number of different things under the ASA name to undermine all attempts for fair and reasonable zoning for the 300 storefronts that are in San Diego.
Wow.
To get them shut down.
Donna, let me ask you something. Are you afraid that you're going to be sued by Eugene Davidovich or Don Duncan or ASA for those types of statements?
They, I think, would be more afraid of me suing them. I have extensive documentation of everything that they've done. I've filed restraining orders against 3 of them. I filed an internet crime thing with the FBI over a year ago for Eugene had hacked my computer. There was proof of that. No, I'm not even remotely afraid. In fact, I welcome the invitation to bring this thing out into the forefront, onto the table, exposed. Because, see, what ASA is doing is furthering the reefer madness propaganda. And when you say only an elite group of people can be trusted to dispense marijuana, that's wrong. Okay, this is a plant, this is safe, this is non-toxic, and I'm not saying, okay, don't put any regulations, but we had regulations that would have kept the 300 stores in San Diego open, or at least, ones that wanted to comply, ones that wanted to work with the government and be above board. We had those set forth, and ASA just attempted to undermine that at every turn.
What are you expecting, Donna? Donna, what are you expecting to happen now, going forward? Like, with a lot of people get concerned that there's division from this, that there's all this infighting that goes on. What do you expect to happen from the revelation of all of this that you're putting out?
What I am hoping is that now the phone's echoing. What I'm hoping is that if we can get these issues of what's really going on out into the forefront, that when as other states look at medical marijuana, I think that they need to be aware of this pot lobby that actually has a self-serving interest and is not working for the good of medical patients or for that matter, people who choose to use marijuana.
Right. Donna, can I ask you this, and then we're going to let you and we'll go. What is the state of the regulation in San Diego? Did they win? Or did you win? Or did the city council come up with something in between?
No, what they did was they gave ASA what they wanted, which was a restrictive permitting where there would be 3 stores in the city. A referendum was done to overturn that. And so in the city, they were going to try to shut down the stores. So they're trying to shut down the stores. And from sources inside that have emailed me, they're out there at Mother Earth wondering what's taking so long because they expect to get all the business from the 300 stores that are closed down. And you know what? ACE is doing this not only in city after city, but state after state. And those kind of policies that allow 1 or 2 or 3 stores in a state, which is what they want, is 4 stores in a state, and they want to control them. It's not about safe access. It's not about patients. It's not about marijuana being used as medicine. It's about money, and it's about greed.
Well, all right. Where can people find out more information about what you're stating and about this situation?
So I'm still not clear. Are the 300 stores closed, or the three?
Yeah, they open or close right now.
Are the
Answer that
300
for us. You're right.
collectives open or closed?
Right now.
I'd say about a third of them have closed voluntarily. They're under threat, and there's more issues. The same judge, Judge Kenneth
So there's still
handled both
many
Eugene's
open
cases.
So,
and there's a judge, Kenneth Jr., who works at the city attorney's office and Department of Land Use. There's some issues going on in San Diego, and every time I bring them out, the police show up at my house. So we've tried putting documents up on the Weekly News. They've got it taken down twice. We tried putting up videos on YouTube. They've got the channel taken down. So, all we can do is keep trying to get it out there.
It's weedlynews.com?
That's Bill's website.
Okay. And you're on Facebook. How do people find you, Donna?
Both my profiles are full. I have one called Marijuana Donna and one Donna Lambert. I also have American Cannabis Foundation page and Donna Lambert Freedom Fighter 420, but I don't put a lot of that on Facebook because Eugene already hacked into my Facebook account and got it taken down, and then he filed false copyright claims. So I don't really touch much on the whole issue on there because I don't want my accounts taken down. And all we can do is keep trying to put it back up online, but they're pretty good at trying to smash the information.
All right, Donna. Thank you for calling, and thank you, William. We're going to see if we get some phone calls on this. We're going to read a statement from Don Duncan. I hope you listen to it.
Okay, yeah, we'll be here.
Thanks for calling. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. You take care.
Thanks, William.
Bye. Thank you.
So that was, what do you think about that, Steve?
This is what happens when you concede principles. You're on a slippery slope, and so now they're dealing with a city council that is perhaps being purchased or is perhaps just so reefer mad that they believe that a city the size of San Diego needs only 3 stores.
Yeah, and I think the problem
with 3 operations, of course, why would you have 3 operations with what the federal government is doing at the moment?
And I'm going to give, Don Duncan some of the benefit of the doubt, because I have seen things that he has done that are, these guys aren't, as evil as people think, and, but at the same time...
Well, let's hear his PR.
Well, I'm going to read it, but I also want to say, in my opinion, Steve, but at the same time, you talked about that slippery slope. Once you start slipping, there's nothing you could overdo to overcome the facts as they exist and the way things happen and they operate. These 2 individuals that called in, it seems like ASA's response has been these 2 or 3 individuals are crazy and they have an agenda, and it goes back to Donna's hate of Eugene because they had a relationship.
Is that what their PR
No,
says?
No. Steve, let me finish, for Christ's sakes. There are 2 hosts on this show.
Well, let me hear the PR.
No, I'm going to finish. Would you shut up?
You're privy to something
Would you
I'm
shut
not
up?
privy to.
We're going to go on.
No, I want to be privy to that. If you're going to go on and on.
No, shut up.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So, basically, when you say that, you can put down the 3 individuals, but at the same time, they're making statements and shedding light on things that are true. Maybe not everything's true. Maybe some things are exaggerated. Maybe the reason they're doing this is for other reasons. I don't know. I don't need to know that. But the conflict of interest that we talked about today. Steve, I'm going to read it unless you want to read it. Do you want to read it? Is it that?
Why don't I read it?
All right. This is from Don Duncan, the executive director of ASA.
Americans for Safe Access.
Let me say this again, because I'm not sure he's the executive director. I'm not even sure his title. I should have looked that up. We should look that up. But he is basically what people consider the top guy, even if he's not.
Well, what kind of document did this come from? Is this
Facebook? I sent him a message on Facebook, and he responded.
Americans for Safe Access is committed to protecting and expanding safe access to medicine and the rights of medical cannabis patients nationwide. We promote sensible regulations and better policies for patients at the local, state, and federal level. A small minority of misguided people have published untrue and libelous comments about ASA, its staff, and volunteers. These accusations result from personal disputes and rivalries unrelated to our organization. We prefer to focus our time and energy on our projects, programs, and campaigns rather than be distracted by unfounded accusations. ASA calls on everyone who supports safe access to abandon personal attacks and infighting and to focus instead on our shared goals, safe access to medical cannabis for patients everywhere.
All right. So that's Don Duncan's response. And basically it's what I said it is, isn't it? I mean, they're basically saying, we do good work, you should do our work, which is good. But they're also saying these individuals are messed up and we're not going to respond to basically what they're saying when there are a lot of conflict of interest. Like Mother Earth, do they own a piece of that? Do they own that dispensary? Are they trying to, you know what I mean? Like these things, how can you represent the patients but be a hidden owner of a dispensary? That's like representing the gamblers and you own a piece of a casino. You know, and you're not telling.
Well, actually, I've got some things about medical marijuana to talk about a little later in the show as well. But I think we're kicking a dead horse, Michael, here. If we both agree it should be as free as tomatoes.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, any bodega that wants to sell it should be able to sell it. Just don't sell it to children.
And that's why we should point these, things out. Like, this is not right what's going on in these states with medical. We should just have it legal.
Just register with the taxing authority like you do for tobacco products.
Yeah.
You do for glue. You got to be 16, I think, to
and we should.
airplane.
So, we'll take your phone calls on this today. 617-606-4122. We're going to play some music in a second. Terry Best from San Diego ASA and Eugene Davidovich also responded to this stuff on Facebook. About this video that Donna put out, which is really kind of out there. I'm not even going to discuss the video really today. We'll leave it at that. But Terry Best definitely responded as well on my MikeCann.net. You can check out her response. She defended Eugene professionally, personally, said he would never do the things he's accused of. She also made she disclosed some information about a specific video, which I really appreciated because I think that's what ASA needs to do on this stuff. They need to get out there in the open and respond to these specific allegations with specific answers on why they're not true if they're not.
Perhaps there's an intern out there who wants to outline the whole thing, and then we'll see if we can't get someone from ASA to officially come on the show and deal with it.
And we're inviting them. We're inviting Eugene, Terry, and Don Duncan. All of them have an open invitation to be on our show.
Before we go to our first break, I just want to say this about the topic of medical marijuana and dispensaries and all of that, and I don't think I need to say it too much or too often, but that is the right to grow marijuana for your own consumption and your household's consumption is a right.
A human right. And you know what?
Not to be taxed at all.
And also, it should be a medical right. Like, if you really are an organization that supports medical patients and medical marijuana, how can you not support legalization? Because it gives the patient the most access and the most options. If they have a friend that really cares about them, that has the green thumb, I mean, that's the best access you can get. If I have Julia Child cooking for me every day, or the guy that's a gardener equivalent, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best access a patient can get of this plant. It's a plant. That's the best form of it too.
All right.
So
we'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back with music, right?
After this music.
And no more yelling?
We have to pay ads. Well, I don't know, Michael. We're two hotheads.
All right, let's hear some cream.
FreeMassMedia.com is a local news and entertainment media team. FreeMassMedia.com supports free speech media outlets like Unregular Radio, The THC Show, KOP Productions, and more. Check out FreeMassMedia.com for exclusive videos, interviews, and blogs, and connect with Boston's best indie media outlets. FreeMassMedia.com is an official sponsor of The THC Show on UnregularRadio.com.
Welcome back to The THC Show with Mike Cann and Steve Epstein, only on UnregularRadio.com.
Wow, that was a new bumper from the one and only Carmelita. Thank you. She's awesome. I can't believe how good she is at those.
Well, that was Newman's voice, though. We have to give him credit, don't we?
Oh, that was his?
That was his voice.
No, that was Carmelita's, the last one. I think. At the end. Oh, Newman.
Yeah, that was Newman.
Oh, that was Newman. That was a Newman.
That was a Newman.
Wow, his voice.
And of course,
I heard his voice at the end, but I thought, but earlier I heard her voice too. I don't know, but we're running new ones from her and him. Like they're both killing it. We gotta admit that.
Let me talk about the music briefly, Michael. Okay. We heard "Crossroads" by Cream, a classic, and we heard from Marijuana Ball performers Truzoos, "The Gentleman's Decision." A little brief instrumental. And, of course, you heard from Willie Nelson. And you need to shop at the Hempest. I'm wearing my warm winter Hempest garment. It's keeping me warm outside.
It looks nice. Steve's pimping.
Brilliant blue.
Pimping.
And we heard
with
from
fur.
Free
with
Mass.
brown teddy bear fur. He looks like a twink.
And
now.
we had the first.
He looks like a twink.
Michael, we had the first playing of Free Mass Media's.
Oh, we played that promo. That was from Carmelita, too. That Free Mass Media. .com. Check out their website. They just put out a Hookah Clops music video. It's awesome. That I am so envious of these women, Carmelita and Nikki Smokes, because they're putting out great
and
content.
We have a grassroots Californian activist
on the phone.
It's interesting because one of the things I was going to talk about.
Who do we have on the phone?
Was the federal lawsuit to prevent Obama and the new initiative that's been filed by Bill Zimmerman.
Bill Zimmerman?
Yeah, and Craig Beresh of California Cannabis Coalition is on the line to tell us all about the things that he's been doing, particularly down in San Diego County and elsewhere in the state of California.
What's going on, Craig Beresh?
How are you doing?
Good.
Well, as you were saying, there's quite a lot going on in California currently, and we've got several different initiatives statewide. One of them you just mentioned was Zimmerman's. One I'm working with, I'm also a board member of the Californians for Patient Rights, which is the PAC for the Repeal Cannabis 2012. And we're pushing that particular initiative out there right now, which we expect to have title and summary back on the 20th, and we'll start signature gathering at that point for that one.
This will be the third statewide initiative in California? The one you're working on?
There are three of them. And I'm biased because I'm on the PAC for this one, but of the three initiatives, this is probably, of the actual five, this is the best one, in my opinion. Zimmerman has one, and great, I love the $250 fine that they offer, but they also mention community service. What they're not mentioning is that it's 90 days community service. What's 90 days community service? That could be 8 hours a day, 740 days, or 90 days at 8 hours a day.
Yep.
That's not much of a break for somebody if a judge is going to throw that out there. So I'd like to see that modified a little bit.
Yeah.
4 days community service, 90 days, that's outrageous to me.
Yeah.
So we've got that. Regulate wine. Cannabis like wine is the third one that's out there. Currently, that one is not a super bad one. I'm more leaning to the 3-pound one with regulate than I am that one. I do see there's some holes in it. And one of the things that concerns me is if we're looking at doing initiatives, you don't want to see any holes that can be challenged and get it torn apart, especially with the money involved in it. And I say that basically because I've been running across California. I'm the one that organized San Diego to do the referendum to stop the ban on medical marijuana there. I also did Kern County, Lake County, Butte County. I sat with the people in San Jose and kind of gave them direction on how to do it. They took off and did it. And I'm currently on initiatives right now in several of these cities to rewrite the ordinances now that we repealed cannabis bans.
What is that statewide initiative that you're pushing? What is better and different about it?
Well, repeal cannabis, basically if it allows you to possess up to 3 pounds of cannabis, transport, possess, and have it at any time, provided you're 19 or over, basically. It's a real simple initiative written by William Panzer, Omar Figueroa, Dr. I can never say his last name, Lucado. He's probably going to shoot me if he's listening to this.
How many plants does that allow, Craig?
I think it was 200 by 200 square foot area.
Just cheering. People were excited.
Well, that'll a 200 by 200 square foot area.
Pretty big.
You can actually get the details of it. One of the things that was written on this, and what we're really concerned about, is this was written by attorneys to say that it could not get preempted by the federal government. And that's one of the things we got to worry about in California. Right now we have the feds coming down on everybody here. And basically that's a sign of we're coming to the end of prohibition. San Diego recently, one of the collectives had a court case that they threw everything they could throw at them. And the only thing they were able to do to get this collective out was they were 20 feet short of the 600-foot state law saying you have to be away from the school 600 feet, 580 feet, so they closed them. Immediately after that case, realizing they had nothing else, the city attorney, along with Orange County and Riverside city attorneys, grouped together, called in, and invited the feds to come in and start the problems that we have going on currently in San Diego. Feds have already started one forfeiture down here. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, we're aware of a lot of shit. Yep. Not the particulars, because you're thousands of miles away, but the generality. So let me ask you, how did you guys arrive at the 200 square feet? How do you defend that?
How do we defend that?
400 square feet, excuse me.
I believe it's 200 square feet is what is in it. A 200 by 200 area.
Which would be 400. But I think it's 200.
Most of them are 100. There's 100 plants. We don't want to go over the 100 plant limit. Why don't we want to do that? Because that's the signal to bring the feds in.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no plant limit. There's just an area limit.
Yeah, basically. If you get on the website, CaliforniaCannabisCoalition.org, there's a tab on there for state initiative, and you can pull it down. It's a real simply drawn out. It's about 2 pages long. You can read it. There's no real hidden points in it. And I think I've also included on there some of the other initiatives of the state, too, so you can kind of compare them and decide what, basically it's up to the individual person. What do you want to support? What do you believe in, and where do you want to go? I like as least restrictions as we could possibly do. I don't, personally, I don't think there's any reason why we need to restrict the plants at all. However, getting it through the voters is another story down here. San Diego is a federal city, and a lot of the Southern California is controlled a lot by that, so we have to deal with that issue and putting anything on the ballot.
So I still don't understand the concept of the 10-foot by 20-foot grow room, which is a 200 square foot grow room, and the 3 pounds. So I can have the grow room, or I can have the greenhouse.
Understand, this is not a medical marijuana initiative. This is a legalization initiative.
Well, I understand.
Up to 3 pounds, or as any particular person able to grow.
Craig, let me tell you something. I gotta just explain something to you. You're dealing with someone who is a complete libertarian constitutionalist. He doesn't believe that. He believes that this should be treated as an herb, and that we shouldn't give the government anything. So that's who you're talking to.
I believe the same thing.
Yeah. Well,
however, what we, realistically, with everything, the other initiatives we've tried, and with the community being divided, we have to, if we want to get something on the ballot, we have to give a little bit of compromise here at this point. Once we get it on the ballot, get something passed and on the books, we can start.
No, I understand. It's what he's trying to do is what Bill Downing wants at a minimum, which is every adult should have the right to grow marijuana for their own use and the use of their friends, for no compensation, and it shouldn't be taxed at all.
As long as it's not for a business.
So I can carry 3 pounds from my property across the street to my neighbor's property, and if I should get run over by a police officer and he should find the marijuana in my backpack, he can't do anything because
it's like you had some tomatoes in your backpack.
Exactly. Is that it, Craig?
Well, I'm totally for Jack Herr initiative. Give me Jack Herr, but realistically, are we going to get it through?
No, you'd have to complicate it with some sort of regulation, we think. We're in the process here, the Massachusetts Cannabis Reform Coalition is in the process of finalizing questions to poll the citizens of Massachusetts before we jump off the ledge and propose any sort of initiative. Because once
best way to go about it. If you have the funds to get in there and do polling and everything, that's the way to go.
That's what we're doing that right now in Mass. We just paid for a poll. We're going to find out on December 10th the results of it on legalization, how far we can go with it. Craig, let me ask you a question.
I'm going to lay everything out for you as to how you go with your initiative when you get that poll back, and it's about the best way to do it. You have the funds, great way to go.
Let me ASA. We had a phone call today with Donna and Bill, and you've been named in some of this stuff. What are your thoughts on this?
We do have a problem down here. ASA as a general whole, I don't have a problem with. There are problems with them in particular in San Diego. I think that enough people have been screaming and hollering, and it's time for a change down there, basically. Aside from that, I don't really want to get into it because there is a lot of other work that we need to be doing right now, and there's so much distraction out there right now. The feds have come out, threaten people, and it's making, it's already distracted people enough. Initiatives are running late. Local stuff's not getting done. People are scared. And I think right now we need to be focalizing ourselves not on the internal fight as much as we need to focalize on getting the laws changed and getting people back into unified.
I agree. And you know what? If you don't like working with someone, you don't like a group, just work with someone else. Work with yourself. Find your group. That's what you need to do. You need
to find your group. One of the things that I'm finding is, at least in San Diego, we've got a group down here that is definitely interested in doing restrictive permitting, and we've got another group. Yeah, they're all for legalizing marijuana, but you have to decide if you want to have this severe restrictive permitting or not. I don't.
I don't either.
And that's an issue.
Let the customer decide. Let the customer decide.
I think we do need to get peace in San Diego. I think the fact that Duncan has gotten up on a celebrity stoner, had to make comments about the situation, it's time that he stand up and make a change to the personality he has in San Diego. It's not one or two people complaining. It's quite a lot of people. And we all know that Duncan didn't just jump on Celebrity Stoner for 2 or 3 complaints. He had to get hundreds of complaints to make a public statement like that. And with something like that, it's time, we need to get everybody on the same page and work together. And if there's groups that can't work together, then we need to change those groups so that they can work together. And that's just how it is. And it's time that, people realize what's going on in the market. And I don't think Donna and Bill are all that far off. I think, Donna is pretty accurate in everything she has shown me, and she can back up everything with paperwork. So take it from there. My time right now is more, to me, is the most important thing is changing things. We're coming real close to an election time, and there's enough distraction out there for me that I have to continue to work on that direction. But thank God we got people out there like Donna and Bill that are trying to get to the truth of what's going on.
Well, we hope that lightning strikes in California and Colorado and Washington and Oregon and other places that might be trying for some sort of legalization scheme or ending prohibition scheme. We do hope you're successful, and we'll talk to somebody from California in the fall, I hope, about what's happening out there as to which ones.
Yeah, I hope you actually. Let me rephrase that. I hope Craig will call in. Mr. Beresh will call in again and give us an update on what's going on in California every so often.
Absolutely.
I can definitely be doing that, and you're going to see lots of things. Like I say, San Diego's getting ready to come out with an initiative. I seem to be going into several different counties that are starting initiatives. And we're going to end the restricted permitting here and start getting some things out here that'll work for the community. And that's the bottom line. It's and I don't do this. I want to make sure you get this correct. It's not me doing this. This is the people doing it. All I can do is go out and tell them what I know, and it's the people gathering together, coming together as one force and making the change. San Diego took 47,000 signatures in 30 days to do this.
Yeah.
Kern County, it took us 32,000 in 30 days to do it. That's not something I can do. That's something that the people do. And that shows that the people's will rules.
Well, the people were willing to do the signature gathering. We've been asking people to do the same thing here in Massachusetts, where some of the cities have passed ordinances that allow the police to go beyond taking your marijuana and giving you a $100 ticket.
Well, I'm going to tell you this the best way I can. I found that, stoners don't do it.
Yeah.
You can't really, they just don't get out and do signatures. You need to have paid signature people out there.
Yeah.
on the streets that are out there for 8 hours a day. San Diego cost me $150,000 to pull that one off. Kern County about $100,000, and that's hiring these people in. How do we get it? The funds come from all the businesses around. For the collectives, for example, you got 30 collectives in an area, or even 50. San Diego, we got 100. We just went around as $1,000 worth keeping yourself in business. Yes, boom, got a check.
Yeah.
And that's how we put the funds together, and everybody has to look at it that way. And there's several ways you can make the money balance so that everybody is happy. And the bottom line is, if we all push together while the get's good, we can change things now.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for calling. Please call back again in the near future and give us an update.
Cool. Have a good one, and have a party out, and have a good weekend.
That was Craig Beresh.
That was a good call. We totally missed 420.
Oh, we did. Wow.
Totally missed 420.
This is the first time.
I was
It's your
considering
fault,
interrupting.
Brett.
I saw
this is the first
I
time.
saw 420, and I was like, do I interrupt this guy?
What's it say on the notes about 420 at the bottom?
Well, we're gonna have a tantrum. But you know what I think we should do? Let's. I'm about to roll one up because I did miss 420 because Craig was a very interesting call. That was cool. It was a good call. I'm rolling some good fluffy green. Awesome stuff. So let's roll it up and let's do the 420 break right now.
Well, let's do the
5 minutes late.
We could do the 420 break, and we'll do.
It's 420 on Mars.
And we'll do my favorite California band, Throwing Stones.
Oh yeah.
And we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's do this.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special broadcast.
Bing bong, it's 420. Two Hotheads on Cannabis on Unregular Radio. Stay tuned because more wackiness is sure to ensue.